in speaking about this financial arm, how exactly does Hezbollah get their money? Is it just like fronted as a contribution to a charity?
Hezbollah's money comes from Iran. Basically, Iran funds, arms, and trains Hezbollah. Hezbollah doesn't take their orders necessarily directly all the time from Iran, but more or less they do the bidding of Iran. The benevolent charity is basically a means for Iran and other funders of Hezbollah, but mainly Iran, to funnel money to primarily the Shiite community and basically to buy their support. Because Hezbollah's activities, essentially Hezbollah is having taken over southern Lebanon and using it as a launching pad for attacks on Israel, which ends up causing retaliation, which creates great suffering. The willingness to put up with that suffering has to be purchased, and essentially this is the way that they do it.
And so is it like a savings and loan here in the United States, or a credit, like a credit union where there are multiple access points to this particular benevolent loan?
Yeah, I mean, look, they provide all kinds of services, and no doubt about it. Remember, Lebanon is essentially a failed state for a lot of reasons, including Hezbollah. But also others, like the fact that they've had to take in over 1 million Syrian refugees, and there's the whole place is rife with corruption and dysfunction. They haven't had they haven't had a president for 2 years, and their prime minister is still interim because they haven't had an actual official government for about 4 years. So Lebanon is a mess. Iran, through the various charities, takes care of the Shiites to a degree. And you ask what it is, it's schooling, it's healthcare, it's various other type of loans for getting on with life. And this is why, basically, of the Shiite population, which is maybe 1.5 million out of slightly more, possibly up to 2 million people in Lebanon, perhaps 35, 40% of the population, there's almost 100,000 men under arms. So their support is basically purchased, but through these financial arms, their families are paid. So maybe support jumps to 250,000, maybe 500,000 people, and that's significant. It means that even though Hezbollah is constantly flirting with bringing ruination upon Lebanon, they do have the support of a not insubstantial proportion of the population that depends on them financially. And again, the money basically comes from Iran.
So in terms of this data breach, was it the United States intelligence that released this on accident? I mean, of all things for them to leak, I mean, people I'm sure are thinking of their own theories on this one.
Well, I mean, intelligence documents leak all the time, but in this case, it appears to have come from the U.S. Was it intentional or was it in error? We don't know. I can hardly fathom why it would be intentional, because it would only serve to undermine a trust between the U.S. and Israel at a time when that trust is needed. So it appears to be a mistake, quite a significant bungle, and it doesn't actually change that much. If you look at what's in the documents, it doesn't reveal what Israel's about to do. It does reveal some movements, and it does reveal some capabilities that they had, but I strongly suspect, I assess that Iran knew most of that stuff already. So largely, it is yet another thing that is undermining trust between the U.S. and Israel.
At the same time, are you saying, and I'm trying to read it between the lines with you here, is it so serious or damaging that it would threaten what Israel is planning to do to defend itself?
I think the answer is no. I mean, it's a big story, but it won't change the course of what's happening here. The bigger story is that Israel has both a tactical need to respond to what was the largest ballistic missile attack in human history. They have to do something. That's the way it's seen in this region. To not do anything would be to invite further attack. But then, on the other hand, they have even grander ambitions, which are essentially to put paid to the completely abnormal situation that the world has tolerated for the past several decades, in which Iran fills the region with proxy armies that answer to Tehran and that become more powerful than the governments and armies of those countries, and that are bent on attacking Israel. Moreover, coming very close to having a nuclear weapon that threatens the entire world, and of course oppressing their own people. This madness coming out of Tehran, Israel wants the world to put an end to it, and there is an argument. There is an argument that they probably should be moderate in their response.
Thanks so much for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.